Hi everybody, my name's David. I'm the head of sales at Scale, and we've got another episode of Meet the Business today. And today we've got Thea Samuel from Shree Spice. Thea, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, looking forward to having a chat with you.
Yeah, definitely. Likewise. Yeah, looking forward to it as well. It's been you've been using our machine for quite a while, haven't you?
Yes, I have. I think it's been about 4 years now.
Oh wow.
It's been quite some time. I wouldn't do without it.
There we go. That's good to hear.
He's stuck, completely stuck without it.
Bless you. Yeah, so obviously we're here to just have a quick chat about you and your business. So to kick us off, just tell us a little bit history of your business, how it started, and how it's developed into what it is today.
Well, it's a bit of a story, but I went over to Sri Lanka to work in Sri Lanka back in 2008, and I just absolutely loved it. And in fact, I ended up marrying a Sri Lankan,
Oh,
and
nice.
we ended up coming back over here. We did want to stay in Sri Lanka, but due to various things, we ended up back here. And then had two children. So my children are half Sri Lankan, and I was making a lot of Sri Lankan curries when I came back because I really missed them. They were so healthy, and I felt really good. And my mum she was a nutritionist before she retired, so she was really interested in them too. And she just kept saying, "Wow, I've never had a curry like this before. It's amazing, and it's so healthy." She was really interested in like the health side of it as well. And I just realized there wasn't really anything like that. But because I had two small children, I wasn't able to. People kept saying, "Oh, you should make them. You should go and open a cafe or like a restaurant or something, or go and cook in people's houses." But I had like two small children, so that wasn't really possible. And so I just decided to come up with doing it like a curry kit so people could make it for themselves. But I could make up my own recipes and do all the fun part, but without all the washing up.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's kind of how it came about. But I did it alongside another job for quite a long, for a while. And I also needed it. Yeah, just I needed a job that was worked around my life. Um, but yeah, just that also that there doesn't seem to be a gap in the market. It seemed to be like Indian spices all the way in, like in the UK. So I thought, why is Sri Lankan curry's not famous? They should be. So, and I also thought with my children, growing up in the UK, I thought it would be really nice to have that connection, with Sri Lanka. So just to keep it alive. So they have, dal all the time, and they've grown up with Sri Lankan foods. So, well, my version of Sri Lankan food, obviously, I'm Scottish, so I add is they're not like strictly traditional. I've added my own flavour to them as well, but they have a Sri Lankan base, like Sri Lankan curry powders, and I use a lot of curry leaves and coconut, and probably making you hungry.
Definitely. So it's almost like they get a taste of home away from home, really, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. And I feel like my two boys, I'm actually divorced now, so but I feel like I've still got Sri Lanka in the house, with my boys. Um, and yeah,
Yeah.
so that's kind of how it all started. So yeah.
There we go. Yes.
What was your
Yeah, so it was sort of just obviously since you've come back, there was no competitors back then, but obviously now, sort of, has there been a rise of competitors? Is it how's that affected you as well?
There's been a lot of competition with regards to curry kits. Um, there's not been huge amount. A lot of people have a range of like an Indian one, a Thai one, and so on. And there's quite often one Sri Lankan one in there, but there's not many people that specialize in just Sri Lankan curries.
I'm I'm with you. That makes sense.
So there's another like person that's fairly small down in England somewhere, I think, doing something, but there's not. Most of them are either a range from different countries or Indian ones seem to be the way Yeah,
The way it goes.
and they all seem to be just a bunch of, not just, but ground spices. Whereas I actually roast a lot of my spices. I dry the leaves that go into the kits, and I have like whole, as well as the ground spices, I have whole spices and leaves as well that flavor the oil. So it does make a difference. Whereas, but the production of that takes a lot longer.
Wow.
So a lot of people don't bother. They basically just grind up spices and then bag it because it's so much quicker. A lot of people say that I'm like mad because I like spend so many hours doing it, but I do love it, and I think it makes a big difference to the taste. So
There we go. So I guess that sort of moving on to the next question then really is, in your opinion, what makes you different from your competitors? So I guess it'd be sort of the fact that it's all homemade by yourself, authentically made, I guess you could say.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and it's all really freshly made. You can smell it quite often. The shops that I sell it to say that you can like smell it through the outer packaging as well.
Wow.
So yeah, but yeah, just all, I suppose all the different bits. You've got your shopping list on the back, your like recipe card in the middle, and then sorry, do you mind if I just show you the inside?
Absolutely.
Oh, and then inside you've got your different numbered bags. These are great for the machine. And then I've got, these are the leaves, and that's got like cinnamon and fenugreek in it. These are the leaves that I dry. And then you've got optional extra chili if you want to make it hotter, which is good for like families as well. If maybe you want to heat up your portion and your kids are not wanting to have it like quite so, hot sort of thing. So yeah, I think they are a bit different, from just like a bag of spices that have basically been ground up with the recipe.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So I think as we've been going on, I kind of can guess the answer to the next question, I believe. So how did you come up with the name for the company?
Oh, do you know, actually, the name for the company, it's a, it's a bit of a love-hate relationship I have with my name, which I shouldn't maybe say, Three Spice, but it's because I have quite an unusual name, Thea, and Shri obviously is Sri Lanka for Sri Lanka, but it's not like in English. It's there's no words that start with Shri, so it makes sense online if you see it online. Um, and if you're talking to me, that's fine. But if you phone someone, I'd say if you ever you're starting a business, phone somebody that you don't know, and say your name and where you're from, and see if they know what you're saying, if it makes sense. Because when I say it's Thea from Shree Spice, I mean, I get also. It's usually what you what, or is that Fiona from Shoe Space? Like people have no idea what I'm saying. So yeah, I would say if I started again, I would try and just phone people out of the blue, and say who I was and see if they understood. But I just thought it made sense because it works on it's short, so I wanted something short enough to go on my packets. But also I thought it would come up quite nicely on search for someone searching for Sri Lankan spices.
Very clever.
I thought that would be good as well. And I also thought I didn't want to put curry kits in case I wanted to sell other sorts of Sri Lankan things. So that I think that's always good when you're starting a business as well, to have a name that you can grow with.
Yeah.
So that was all the things I thought about, but I just didn't think about the fact people can't pronounce it. Actually, you're the only person I think that you did pronounce it how I would pronounce it. Free Spice.
There you
In
go.
Sri Lanka. Yeah, you're the first person in 6 years that's done that.
Yeah, so moving on from obviously the creation of the name of the company is I absolutely love it that obviously I've got that achievement, so yeah, I'll take that. In relation to sort of the imagery for the company, how did you sort of come up with that? Obviously, there seems to be quite a lot of thought gone into the name of the company. So, in relation to company identity, did you research and develop the idea, or did you sort of just go with what you felt was good?
Well, the main thing for me was I wanted to make sure that it looked that all the branding kind of like fitted in with my online shop, and also I was looking very much to sell them into shops, so I needed um, them to look nice. And one of the things I really wanted was for people to understand what was inside the bag, because I do have like a lot of different like I was saying before, I've got a lot of different bags that go into this bag. I wanted people to know exactly what's inside, so you can see the little pictures that tell you you've got what's inside. And this is the Sri Lankan flag colours,
Nice.
my banner. So yeah, I just and also I have quite a long range of 9 kits, so I wanted them, if a shop had the full range, not for it to take up too much shelf space, which is why my bags are quite tall and thin. And yeah, the graphic, I really love my graphics actually. Yeah, I've always liked my graphics. This was a graphic designer that did this for me. And yeah, just I really like it. I've had a lot of shop owners that say that it does. I think it's so important that it stands out on the shelf.
Absolutely.
Because literally you've just got like a few minutes for somebody to walk past you or not. And I think that the graphics have really helped me with that. For people to actually, you know, pick them up, and some people have been surprised that I make them at home because they're like, oh, that's really surprising. They look really professional. I thought, oh, I'll take that as a compliment. Because they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Because I still make them from home. That's more to do with my family situation. It's just easier. But yeah, it makes a huge difference. I would say the graphics and even like the recipe cards, all the typeface and everything is the same as on the bags as is on the website. So
brilliant.
So yeah, that was that was planned.
There we go. Yeah, I think
yeah, I think when you've got a range as well, like I have the main dishes are all red, and like the side dishes, these ones are all green at the top. So in a shop, people can hopefully just quickly, especially if they bought them before, they can quickly grab them and know what they are. Even if they've not had them before, maybe roughly they'll, oh, that's a side dish, okay, I'll grab that. So yeah, I think that's one of the most, as well as it tasting great, so they come back. They're not going to pick it up initially if your branding's rubbish.
yeah.
So I'd say that's been like really great, like having good eye-catching branding.
That's brilliant. Good to hear. And obviously, yeah, like you say, if you've only got quite a wide range of competitors on the shelves, you've got to obviously stand out quickly. So, how did you start with the design and manufacture of the products for sale? And obviously, in terms of the packaging, did you have any sort of challenges with minimum order quantities, and how did that all affect cash flow and things like that in the early days?
Well, because I was working in the early days, I just saved up, and then I worked part-time. I worked part-time as well. I designed. Sorry, I'm kind of going backwards, but I designed the actual kits when I was on maternity leave, and because I was sort of deciding that shift work was not great. And I knew that I had a certain amount of time on maternity leave before I might have to go back to my job. So I used that time whilst like feeding my baby to design the kits. And then I tested them all as well on, I think it was about 100 people with a questionnaire and asked for feedback. And I think most people usually just start with like 1 or 2 products rather than 9. But I actually just went for it. I went with 9, which actually did make the cash flow side of things more tricky. But I was just saving up basically. I just used my savings to start, and so I had to buy. It was a few thousand to like. I had to buy all the bags and the labels, and the branding was a massive. For me, the branding was like a really big cost. But because these bags are not printed, they're on stickers. I'm hoping to change it to be printed actually, but currently I'm looking into the packaging side of things to get them printed, but I can't find any thin bags at the moment. They're all quite wide. But yeah, that was quite a big cost. So, but because I was working at the same time, that helped me not to feel too like scared about using all my savings to pay for that, because I knew I had my wage coming in from my job at the same time. And my plan was just to start slowly while the children were young, and just, not market the hell out of it, just go gradually and build it up until they were at an age where I could, well, basically where I am now. They're both at school now, so looking to move out of the house, move the factory out of the house would be nice. So yeah, so it was quite a lot of planning and a bit of investment, but I think it's a good way to start if you're also able to work and just do the two alongside each other until you feel you can give up your job, your like waged income.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, sort of working outside of the hours that you put in for somebody else, sort of focus on putting them into yourself, sort of yeah, that's really commendable, and especially whilst you've got children as well. Um, so where do you currently sell your products? Is it online? Obviously you mentioned through shops as well, and I think we had a conversation through email about your SEO. So how are you working on that?
Yes, I sell them in shops and online, and also online farmers markets. Um, and I go to one physical market which has just started up, which is actually tomorrow. Just like a local market, because it's really nice to get out there sometimes and actually meet people, because you can spend a lot of time virtually and like in your kitchen, and it is lovely to actually meet your customers sometimes. um, but what was the question? What did I sell
Yeah,
them?
yeah,
Yeah, I mostly sell them the majority of my sales is through shops, or it was. It's kind of like, because of this past year and a half, it completely like changed, and a lot of the shops closed, or they didn't let you into like the front. They only let you into the very front of the shop. So if your products were not there, they're not going to see them. So I had massive swing to online sales, which was great, and then the shop sales were like down, and but the online markets were busy, and then since the shops have opened, it's changed, and the shop sales, like everyone's ordered all at once from the shops. That was like really hard. But then the online sales went down. So, but it's been great to have to be in lots of different places, um, so that you're not relying on. Because if I'd literally just been in shops, I would have really struggled if I had had no online presence. But if it had been the other way around, then like it's the shops give you like a big cash flow injection at once, whereas online it's lots of little bits, and you've got to keep going to the post office and like packaging, and it's really good having the different revenue streams, I would say. But it is hard to like focus on them all at once, and your mind is just like blown, especially with the accounts. Like, all the different paperwork. It makes it tricky, but I would say that's been really like comforting almost, just to know I've had all these different, so when one's gone down, the other one's gone up. I think it's always like good. And with the pandemic, the online markets are quite good because a lot of them have been delivering to people's doors, or they're doing like click and collect.
Yeah, so it's like that old saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket, really, isn't it? So,
Yeah, definitely.
so you mentioned that your online sales sort of dropped. Would you say that they dropped below pre-COVID levels, or have they dropped to above pre-COVID levels?
Well, it seemed to be very up and down.
Yeah.
Like previously, most of my sales were through shops or the online markets. And then last year, the online, it went crazy. And that's when I realized, it's when we were all locked in our houses. And that's when I realized that, online sales, I need to do some. I had a website, but I wasn't really, it was just sort of there. And I realized that if people actually knew about my website more, that that it was, they were excited about it. So yeah, it's just been massive swings up and down. But my SEO isn't great. I wasn't really doing anything with it at all. So I've now got an SEO person to help me, but it's only been 1 month. So yeah, since the shops have opened, there's been a swing downwards again from the massive swing up, but then the shops have come up. So, now I'm waiting for everyone to get sort of used to going out to the shops again, and then they'll come back to online. But for me, I'm in the shops now, so it's okay. It's okay. I'm in the shops and I'm online. So if people want to suddenly go shopping en masse, and not shop online, or they want to suddenly all shop online because they're stuck in their house, then I'll be fine. So it's okay.
So have you got any specific store for yourself, or is there any sort of strategy for developing a store for your product and for Shree Spice?
A store? What do you mean by store exactly? Do you mean like a physical store, like a?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I would like to. I do need to. I'm kind of at full capacity. I need to do something. But I've been eyeing up a place in my village to actually just have a unit. I don't think I could manage. I would at some point love to have a shop where I'm making the spices and roasting the spices so everyone can smell it, and then they're coming in and like they can. I would like it to look like an old pharmacy, with all the old pharmacy bottles with spices in them. But that's like that's for the future sometime. Because I'm on my own with the kids, I have to kind of be near the school. And unfortunately, in my village, there's very little. It's quite a small place, and there's not many places that I can move to with my business, which is why I'm still here. But I am determined because that this is going to happen. This is going to happen. I'm going to move my business out of my house because it is just it's pretty crazy having a factory in my house, and it's time. It's definitely time to move. So yeah, probably not like a shop first of all, probably a unit somewhere where I can produce a kitchen, a kitchen with a store, basically a store as in to store all the ingredients and the products and get some help as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So that sounds good. Obviously, yeah, you want to move into a sort of unit where you can manufacture a lot more I guess it'll help you upscale as well with bigger equipment and things like that.
Yeah, I've actually been looking into manufacturing myself in a unit versus getting someone else to do it completely. And I've been learning a lot about if you go to a manufacturer, and I just can't do it. I don't think I can do it. It's like my baby. So yeah, I think it's definitely going to be moving to a unit. And maybe I might need another one of your handy machines. Ideally, I'd love to have, because I would have another one if I could, but I don't have the space. But although they don't take up much space, but yeah, I would that would be the plan, hopefully. Yeah, because I don't use them for these bags, but I could easily use them for like the mustard seeds and the chili flakes that are in here.
Yeah, so over the last year, we're sort of aware that more and more people are moving into the online buying space. So pre-COVID, what was your online versus retail turnover as a percentage, and how has COVID affected that? And what's your sales turnover like now in terms of your percentage? Is it 60-40, 50-50? How has that changed?
Well, pre-COVID, I would say I was 80% retail, so selling to the physical shops, 80%, and then 20% would have been online sales and the online farmers markets. And it's difficult to say with the since COVID, because although it's only been a year and a half, it's been like so changeable from month to month. But I would say as an overall, it's been more like maybe 60-40 to the shops, maybe 60 online, 40. So yeah, I've definitely seen a massive difference. And actually, it's been great because it's shown me what's possible online. So that's been quite exciting, actually.
Yeah, that's something we found as well. There's a lot of people in this industry that sort of learning more and more about the online, and it's sort of pushing them, forcing their hand really to get online and learn new skills and sort of develop their business that way. Obviously, you mentioned before the online, obviously with it being a lucrative opportunity, but it's also a little bit more fiddly.
Yeah, yeah, it's all the different size boxes that you need to know all the, and then your packaging, and yeah, all of that stuff. But I live right beside the post office. It's not far. I can actually see it from my house, so I know if there's anybody in there or not, which is quite handy. And I know exactly what time the postman arrives. So that is pretty handy, I must say. It's been good. But I do like the fact if you're selling direct to customer that you get feedback from them directly, and you can people email you and tell you how much they've enjoyed them, and just having that contact with the customer is lovely. Whereas when you sell through a shop, you speak to the shop buyer or get an email from them with an order, and you don't really get to speak to their customers. Sometimes they'll tell you what their customers have told them, but it's not as common as if you're selling direct to customer. Just having that, you're working away for hours in your kitchen, just having that feedback from the customers is really lovely when you're selling direct to customer. Yeah. It makes it feel like the hard work's all really worth it when people do tell you, that they've enjoyed their dinner, really enjoyed their dinner, or had like a special date night with their husband or something, and made some memories with one of my curries. I just love to hear that.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's almost like delivering that experience and receiving that feedback is definitely makes the hard work pay off. So it sounds like there's advantages and disadvantages to both online and retail in terms of the satisfaction it could give you and in terms of the ease of business, etc. So
So
how
how
would you
would you
go
go
about
about
sort of
sort of
marketing your
marketing your
company,
company,
and
and
have you
have you
got
got
any
any
sort
sort
of
of
advice or
advice or
tips
tips
for
for
those
those
that
that
are
are
sort
sort
of
of
maybe
maybe
where
where
you
you
were
were
5 years
5 years
ago
ago
in, in
in
starting
starting
the
the
journey?
journey?
Well, I think I probably started slightly differently in that I wasn't looking for rapid growth. I was just looking to kind of slowly, um, do my thing, and grow organically. So I haven't actually really marketed my products, which sounds a bit nuts, but I just knew that first of all I had my other job, and then I'm sort of at full capacity really now. But I have seen there's a company that makes snack bars. I can't honestly remember the name of them, which is awful. But they actually had an Instagram account before they even started, and they asked people, "Oh, what do you think of this packaging? What do you think of that packaging?" And got their followers really involved in their product before it had even launched, till people were like super excited to try it, and they were getting them manufactured. But I'm on a group called the Food Hub, which is a really amazing resource for food producers, like small scale food produce manufacturers like myself. And if you've got any questions, there's always someone in there that knows that knows the answer. And yeah, that's a great place to start. And social media is, it seems like you just have to do your social media, and I've actually been learning how to do that myself because I'm not a natural with social media. So yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially with
especially with
all
all
the
the
various
various
different
different
platforms out
platforms
there
out there
these
these
days,
days,
and
and
you
you
feel
feel
like
like
you need
you
to
need
get
to
on
get on
all of
all of
them,
them,
but
but
yeah,
yeah,
how
how
do
do
you
you
find manage the
manage the
time to
time to
do
do
that?
that?
So
So
yeah,
yeah,
I
I
completely
completely
understand
understand
that
that
getting some
getting some
help in
help
is
in is
Yeah.
definitely a
definitely a
good
good
idea.
idea.
Um,
Um,
so in
so in
terms
terms
of,
of
obviously
obviously
Yeah.
you
you
mentioned
mentioned
farmers
farmers
markets and
markets and
things
things
before,
before,
in the
in the
online
online
retail
retail
space.
space.
Sort of,
Sort
is
of,
there
is there
any
any
events
events
or
or
farmers
farmers
markets
markets
online that
online
you
that
would
you
sort of
sort of
recommend
recommend
to
to
others?
others?
And
And
which
which
ones
ones
and
and
why?
why?
Why
Why
would you
would you
recommend
recommend
those
those
ones?
ones?
Well, I think when you first start, it's really good to do your local farmers market, just because from a practical point of view, they're very easy to get to, and you get a lot of really valuable feedback as well. I also did foodies 1 year, and I had a lot of feedback. That was in my first year, I think, and I got a lot of feedback from chefs. There was loads and loads of chefs milling around, and they would come. I knew they were chefs. They'd come and taste my samples, and they'd go. They'd be like this, whereas everyone else would just like take a massive spoonful and go, but yeah, I think just getting as much feedback as you can, and events that you enjoy as well, because events are hard work. I mean, if you're doing something like what I do, you have to make a lot of curry for sampling. I'm not sampling at the moment, but pre-COVID, when I did markets, um, I would have like curry, and people would come over because they smell it, and then they taste it, and then they would buy it. And because my recipes are not traditional, I always felt like I needed to sample them. Um, so I would need to take a lot of equipment along with me. It was like really quite a lot of work. And there's obviously cost implications to that as well. So you need to like look at your costings quite closely, I think, with markets if you're sampling, making sure that they're worth it. But you can also get picked up by a lot of shops in the right markets. Like the Royal Highland show, I keep meaning to do, because a lot of people tell me that a lot of shop buyers go there, and that's how they've got into certain shops. It's a good way to get noticed if you're in. But yeah, a good place to start is probably just your local online farmers market, um, and then there's all the trade shows as well. but they're very expensive, so you need to like work out, maybe to give them a try and see if it's been worth your while.
Yeah, so it seems like there's a good opportunity to go to sort of farmers markets and things like that. I know you mentioned before about the food hub. They run their own festival as well, don't they? I think.
Yeah, bread and
Yeah.
jam. Uh-huh. I've always wanted to go there, but now it's online. I can
Oh,
go.
nice. Oh,
I have
nice.
a lot of difficulty with childcare to go to these things, but yeah, bread and jam is something that I definitely. That's a food founders festival, and oh, it just yeah, I think it'd just be amazing to go. I go to some of their on. They have online events as well. So in fact, I was just on one yesterday. They do lots of like mini little events. So I've done a few of them, and they're actually really good. They get like experts in certain fields. The last one was about commercials and margins, working out your margins, with distributors and retailers, and the previous one was to do with labeling, I think it was. Yeah, I mean, definitely worth it. Just check them out on the Food Hub.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. Um, so yeah, as we're sort of moving on to the last couple of questions now, really is the biggest one is looking back at the development of your company. What are some of the biggest challenges you faced, and how did you overcome them?
Oh, I don't know if it's the what you're looking for, but children is my biggest
Yeah,
my biggest
yeah,
challenge is working around children. And I suppose that um, being able to work from home with your machine actually has enabled me to do that. Um, because yeah, it's been a massive challenge. But finding time, I would say time is the biggest challenge of all, and also trying to do everything yourself, because you're making all the stuff, but then you've also got your accounts, and then you've got to try and go on social media, um, and I think the way to I don't wouldn't say I've ever overcome that, but I've just tried to be more organized, um, and plan my content, and on a Monday check everything that's been sold, and then do my accounts on the last day of the month. Just have things in a regular time frame, so that you know that you've got that job, um, and also to tell people that although you're at home, you are working. Because I think it's very difficult because people think that you're at home. I think maybe now it's slightly easier. I think in fact since COVID, I think it's been easier because people appreciate that you're working even though you're at home. Whereas before, people we didn't really realize, they say, "Oh, do you fancy going for coffee?" Or and it's so tempting as well. You just like, no, I'm going to work. I know I'm going into my house, but I'm actually working. Um, so yeah, that's so just having the tools, being organized, and having tools um to help you, like you know scheduling software, your production, things that can help with production, um, and just anything that can help you be organized and speedy is good. It's key.
yeah, absolutely. And this is why we love talking to small businesses as well. And I think for yourself, when you say obviously, oh, it's not an answer that we're looking for, I think it's a very real answer, that a lot of people probably are actually up against it, because I think when you're working at home on your own all the time, you don't sort of see the bigger picture of a lot of people are actually in a similar situation when it comes to hand packing, similar even across all the different industries, whether it's spices or coffee or tea. Um, a lot of it is very relatable. So yes, I guess for us to sort of just say that it's a very real challenge, and I think that you have overcome it very well, especially when you mentioned before about the post office. You know what time the postman comes and things like that. So it sounds like you've got it down to a T, really.
Yeah, everybody sees me running down the hill at like 8 minutes past 5. That's my daily jog.
So yeah, I guess over to the last question really, and that's just how was the Phil 300? Well, actually, the Y2 as what it was called when we first branded as YOLO. How has the Phil 300 aided you in your journey of business development, and what sort of return on investment did it give you through using it?
Yeah, well, I have been using it for, as you can see, when it was still called the Y2, and it's still going like really well. And I think it cost. I remember at the time thinking it was a big investment for me personally because I had such a small operation, and I came down, and that was one of the big attractions. Was that I had a look online and I saw that there was you guys selling it, and then all the other ones were in China. I think pretty much everyone else was like in China, and I thought, what if I like spend this money on a machine and it doesn't work, and then I'm sure that like if I get in touch with them, they're going to be like, here, like, or not want to talk to me if it's not another sale. If it's just, I thought I was concerned if I bought a Chinese machine that it would go wrong and that there would be no comeback as well. And I did really like the fact that I could come and talk to you. And you also let me have a shot as well before. This was pre-COVID, obviously. I was able to, I don't know what you do now, but I was able to come into the office, and you showed me how to work it. And that was great, because I could see that it was going to work for me. And also, since obviously, I've had questions because I couldn't retain all the information in my head about, I'm just not a very technical person. And I phoned you up and you just straight away did like a FaceTime call with me and showed me what it was that I needed to know. And then ever since, it's just been going, it's been really, really helping me. So I'm probably like, say about 30% quicker in making my spice kits up. So it's enabled me to increase obviously my sales that I can do as a one-man band or one-woman band at home, which is brilliant. So, and the other thing is I used to get sore up here, like my shoulders, because I'd have a little scale, like I'm sure, a little scale with like a bowl of spices on top. And then I'd have a spoon in my bag and I'd be like weighing out, and then it'd be like, I'd put in a spoon and it'd be like 35 grams, but it's supposed to be 30. So then I'd have to take out like a few grams, and then it wasn't quite, so take out a bit more. And it's just, it really adds the time, but also getting like sore shoulders at the top here. So it's actually helped me physically with that as well. So, and also I can listen to the radio and things like that. I don't have to, I don't have to continuously like stare at the little thing because it weighs it out automatically. And it's just like a little beep, and then I just close the bag and then move on to the next one. So I can actually sometimes listen to podcasts as well and learn things while I'm doing it, which is great for multitasking. So it's paid for itself like really quickly within a few months. So I'm like super pleased, and it's still going strong. And I like the fact that I know that if ever there was anything, I could just phone you, and you always get back to me like really quickly as well. So yeah, so I'm really pleased. I definitely get some more as well. That's the only thing is I'd like to have. I'd like to have a few more. So that would be good. But yes.
Well, thank you very much for those kind words. Definitely appreciate that, and I liked what you said there about obviously you get to listen to a podcast and learn as you're doing it. So packing is quite a mind-numbing task. So for you to be able to sort of use that opportunity to bring on new skills is definitely one of the best answers we've had, I think. And I noticed on your Instagram that you were looking for an answer for a name for your machine. Did you get one?
No. So well, there was one of my customers suggested Cassia, but I was quite. I'm still surprised. I'm not sure why he did that because I had a post out saying that I use real Ceylon cinnamon, whereas a lot of my competitors use cassia, which is from the cinnamon family, but it's cheaper, and I don't use that. So it was like a whole post about the fact that I don't use that. So I think he was maybe trying to be funny, but yeah, it's not going to be called cassia. I think like, did you say Phil or something?
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
I think it's a girl. I think it's a girl. You know, I have like two boys in this house, and I'm outnumbered, so I need, I need it to be. I think it's a girl.
What about Phyllis?
Yeah, yeah, that's a good name actually. Yeah, Phyllis. Yeah, I think we'll go with that.
There we go. Brilliant. Well, yeah, that's sort of the end of the interview. Thank you very much for participating, and yeah, it's been really good to get to know you, the business, and more about Shree Spice. And yeah, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
That's
It's been fun.
not a problem. And yeah, so for all of our viewers, thank you very much for watching. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Check out Thea's website. It's www.shreespice.com or .co.uk. www.shreespice.co.uk. And we'll put the links in the description below. Thank you very much, everybody, and we'll see you next time.